Today we're going to be building out a GPT for QA. So we'll do a little research on what exactly we mean by this, but basically what we're going to be trying to do is building an AI agent for strategizing, strategizing good QA practices and techniques for a game. And we're going to do a little planning and research here first, and if you have any ideas, make sure to put them in the chat. But basically, I think what the goal is going to be is we're going to have some input, which is going to be things like a description of the game, then maybe some screenshots of the game, and then also recent code changes. And I'm not sure here if we're going to be doing like a summary of the code changes, or it actually might be the code itself, but we'll figure that out when we get to it. So code, where's the code summary? Then our output is basically going to be a plan for a QA engineer to test their game. So it could be things like, oh, you need to test this specific ability in the game, you need to go test this new level, things like that. And so before we jump in, I just wanted to go quickly look at some of the recent GPT work people have been doing. Might give us some ideas. So let's see here. There's a lot of really cool stuff that people are building. I find that going through Twitter is a great way to see what's going on out there. So let's see here. One thing that may be interesting to look into, and I'll put this down in an ideas section here, random ideas. It might be really cool to see if we can have GPT basically modify screenshots to highlight things someone should test. Don't know if that'll be useful, but I mean, kind of cool if I upload a screenshot of my game and it's like, oh, hey, this UI element, you need to test that because it recently changed in the code. I think that'd be pretty cool to see. Let's see what else we got here. There is the whole concept of knowledge files, which we will be using. So maybe I'll put this into the implementation ideas as well. Like, we might want to upload descriptions and information on what a QA engineer at a game studio does. That might be some pretty specific knowledge, so we can go look that up and then actually add that in. That may be one of the first things we do, actually. And then, let's see what else here. Sometimes there's like a list of, oh, look at these 10 cool things that someone's built for using the new tools. So we'll see here. I did see this post earlier, which I think is kind of funny. Gotta be careful about what you put in these agents. Levels, the FYI, they're a site that gives a lot of really good like salary data for companies. They made an agent, and then they added some knowledge files that you can just easily download. So it looks like anything you upload into the agent, we might be able to download, or users could download. So should be careful about that. Yeah, I think maybe that's it for now. I mean, you can also do web browsing, and so I am curious to see if we can actually browse like a GitHub repository. We'll try out some of that as well. So browsing a GitHub repository, that'd be really cool if we just do that automatically. And then also, there is now a Python interpreter. I did some testing on this, and there is no internet access, but you can just write pretty much arbitrary Python code if it doesn't rely on the internet. So maybe able to try that out. So if you have any other ideas from your own testing or playing around with GPTs, definitely put it in the chat. We can write it down, but I think we can probably just jump right into it. So if you're not familiar with it, let me just actually go to the site and show you what recently came out here. Should be able to find a blog post about this somewhere here. Yeah, so on, I believe it was Monday, OpenAI released this concept of GPTs, which is essentially the ability to build your own sort of like AI agent. And so you can have it do things like, basically you upload a bunch of context and knowledge and instructions, and it'll just go and build basically a chatbot for you. And it's pretty cool. You're building it entirely through like this chat interface, which is pretty awesome. So let's just jump right into it. I think that'll be the best way to do it. So if you do have ChatGPT and you do have to have the ChatGPT Plus subscription, but once you're on there, you can click this Explore button, and then there should be a Create a GPT button here, and we can just start implementing this. So let's see, we're gonna do. Yeah, we can just type this in, I guess. And also, I'll make this a little bigger, so I know that the stream quality might be a little low. We are building an agent that will help game developers strategize and come up with tests for QA testing their games. And this is pretty cool. If you haven't played around with it yet, I definitely encourage you to. It basically will come up with all the actions, descriptions. It'll even make an icon or a logo for you, which is pretty cool. So let's give this a second to think. Sometimes it could be a little slow, but... All right, game QA strategist. I think that's a fine name. Yeah, that works. And while this is going, I'll put one more idea here in the document. I was playing around with these GPTs a little bit earlier, and one thing that I feel like we might run into, like issues we might run into. I'm not exactly sure how we can get the GPT to prompt for certain information. So we'll try to keep that in mind, because for QA testing or figuring out a QA test strategy for a game, the user has to upload like the information about their game first, and so we have to make sure that the GPT doesn't try to respond. I kind of like this logo. All right, so yeah, it comes with the logo automatically. I think we'll just use that. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Seems like it's actually a little buggy here. Usually I'll wait for like one response for each of these questions, but it looks like maybe I thought that we were already responding to it. Yeah, it almost looks like it's reading its own responses as responses to the previous one. So we'll just give it a second and see if it doesn't fix itself, we'll just make a new one. I think I noticed this too. If you move between tabs, it can be pretty unreliable with some of that stuff. So, all right. Yeah, all right. We'll just create a new one. Probably easier. All right. We want to create a GPT that will provide a strategy for QA testing a game, so a game developer can reduce bugs and validate game feel, and balance the game. All right. Yeah, I see a question in the chat. Yeah, do I think a OpenAI store will be filled with gaming-related tools to assist the game devs versus comprehensive agents? I think it'll be probably like a mix of both. I think at first there's definitely gonna be a lot more agents that are like more simple, like just kind of like very basic chatbots. The code generation part of it is still pretty new, I guess, and it's not really like super like comprehensive yet. So yeah, but yeah, we'll have to see. I think in the coming weeks, I'm not sure when it'll actually be available, but they will. Yeah, there will be like a GPT store coming out, which will be interesting. And we'll actually put this agent on that store as well. I think what we'll do for now is after this session, we'll send out links. People could try this out, but yeah. All right, that profile picture works for now. Yeah, it is interesting to see how far they'll go with like making these AI agents. The fact that it can actually write code by itself, and we can show that a little bit later as well, is pretty crazy. So that looks good. What's really cool about this is that as going along, you see the preview here, everything for that agent changing. All right, so now it's asking us for defining that role a little bit more. So what specific types of advice or information should it provide? So I'm going to avoid switching the screen here while we wait. Usually I wouldn't see an updating GPT here, so there actually maybe it's just kind of buggy today. If it does go on to say something else here, yeah, okay, we're gonna stop that for a second. All right, so yeah, I think what we'll have to do now is let's actually go get some information on like what makes a good QA test. We can get that as context for coming up with these plans. So let's see, good QA game practices. If you have any QA developers or QA engineers in the chat, definitely let us know. We'll also open up a few of these. And basically what we're going to do is we're just going to like just copy and paste like the text from these pages. This actually might be a good one. Let's see here. Okay, let's actually start with the prompt here, I guess. So here is some context on how a QA engineer can best test their games. Below is a list of... Actually, maybe we'll even put them into text files. It actually might be a little bit easier. So that way we can have a few... Yeah, maybe text files would be good. So let's actually open up an editor here. I think that'll be better than just putting everything into the prompt. So make a new text file. And we're just going to go and just copy and paste some of this in there. And it is going to be like badly formatted, but I mean, with GPT, it really doesn't care as long as the information is in there. So we'll go up to here, I think. Well, section there is just mostly just links to other things. All right, and we'll call this. We'll save this to our desktop. Just call it unityadvice.txt. All right, and then we'll make another one for. This is more about. Actually, this could be good. Because even though this isn't about like how to find things in your game to debug, it does have advice on how you should interact with your team when you do this, which is interesting. It's more of like all things around the actual QA test, and I'm curious to see if it'll actually go and like use that. So we'll include this one as well. We'll call this team interaction.txt. And then finally, this is good that these are very specific things about how to test for each platform. So we'll go and copy that as well. And now some of this stuff, we actually might not need to copy it, like because GPT has web browsing capabilities. I think we could probably just do this by saying, "Hey, get the information from this website." So we can try that out too, but maybe we'll start with this for now. Okay. Specific advice.txt. All right, and now what's really cool is I can just go and attach these files and say these text files contain a bunch of information about how developers QA test their games. Use that as context on how a QA engineer can best strategize their test. And then also here I'm going to put that like I want to inform the GPT that they need to have like prompt for like information about the game. So let's see here. When responding to the user of this GPT, you should make sure that you first have the context on their specific game. You should prompt them for the following: a high-level description of their game. Then also we'll have them maybe like upload screenshots of their game. And then I think also it'd be really useful to have code. So recent code changes, either by pasting the code or uploading a screenshot of the recent Git history, or using a command like Git Log. And I think you do something like this to get like a very nice like one-liner log for a Git repository. So we'll put that in there to get the Git history as text. And then given that information, you should come up with very specific basically very specific items to test in their game. For example, if they have an FPS game and they recently added a new, like let's say gun effect, or maybe just a new gun, they should be testing the effects of the gun, swapping the gun, reloading, and other animations damage effects, etc. So, yeah, I think that's maybe enough context here. Let's see. I think that should be good. Let's see how it responds. We'll see how it responds to this, given that we just we stopped it in the middle of its last response. But I think that should be fine for it. If anyone else in the chat has played around with GPT yet, I'm sure most of you have. Curious to see if you have any cool ideas or experiences with it. But I just started using the GPT Plus yesterday, and a lot of cool stuff. The Python interpreter is interesting. All right, I think right now what it's probably doing is it's saving the information in those text files and then reading it and understanding that knowledge. And I'll show you the configure tab in a second when it's done responding here. You'll see that those text files are now uploaded. All right, so now it's updating its knowledge. And we also have a sample game that we're going to be trying this out with, so I'll show that once we're ready for the preview. Let's see what it says here. All right, it says it's good. All right, we can try it out. Also, I really love how they came up with this idea of like building an app through a chatbot, basically. So if I go to my configure tab, looks like I never actually filled out the name here, which I think we're calling Game QA Strategist. I think it was a little buggy at the beginning. Cool, and you can see that I can have like different conversation starters, and I kind of like those actions. And then we have this knowledge base, and then it's really cool. You can even have it generate pictures, which I think we'll try to do later. But all right, let's just take it for a spin, I guess. So I guess what we'll do is let me show you the game that we're going to be testing this with. So we have a game called Boss Room, and you can go and download this yourself and try it out. It's basically a dungeon crawler game. It's from Unity. It's like a open source Unity sample. You can just go download it and try it out. And basically how this game works is it's a dungeon crawler. You have different characters you can choose from. It is a multiplayer game, so you can have multiple players playing at the same time. And then what you can do is you can kind of go through this level. You can interact with the environment. And actually, while I'm saying all this, let me see if there's actually something that would be like a recording button, because as I'm literally going through and explaining this, I could just be recording that and getting the text of the description for the game. Anyways, you can go through, you have abilities like attacking. Each character has a secondary ability, like a shield for this character. And then the idea is that you would go and stand on the switch, and this is a multiplayer game, and so you need 2 people to do this, but you basically go and stand on the switch, you go through that door, and there's a boss that you fight. So that's the game, and I guess what I'll do while I'm going through here is I'll take a few screenshots. So these are things that we're actually going to be uploading to GPT later on. We'll go over here to the door and take a screenshot over here. Not sure how useful the screenshots actually will be for all this, but it might be interesting. All right, so that's the game. So we're basically going to ask it, how do I test recent changes in my dungeon crawler Unity game? And it should ask us for more information. Hopefully it's not like, oh, here's just some ideas. We'll see what it says. Sometimes it's a little verbose. All right, so right here we see that it's definitely going a little bit overboard. So we can actually like give it a prompt to refine a little bit. With conversations with the GPT, it gave tons of information on general game testing practices. It should never do that. We want it to only give specific test cases and strategies for our specific high-level description, or maybe based on our specific high-level description, screenshots, and code or recent code changes. If you do not have that knowledge, make sure the user provides it first. All right, we'll try that out, see if that makes it a little better. We might just need to change our starting prompt as well that we give it. While that's going on, we'll also go. Actually, I don't want to move the screen here yet, just in case it gets messed up. But we'll also need to go grab like the Git log for recent changes in the game. Yeah, I wonder. It looks like it's mostly here, just kind of spitting back the information from those knowledge text files that we uploaded. All right, let's see. No longer offer general gaming testing advice. That's good. Perfect. That's exactly what we want, GPT. Let's see if you can do it now. I wonder if there's a way to clear this current context. Oh, it looks like it restarts it. I need to develop a strategy for QA testing my dungeon crawler game. If it can't handle this part, we'll just kind of go ahead and like provide the context right away. But oh wait, perfect. All right, cool. It's actually prompting us for the information we need. That's good. I was worried to just kind of ignore that. So, oh, it even has some more original ideas that we did not provide. All right. So, general game description. We have. Let's see here. This is a dungeon crawler game, and it's actually a multiplayer dungeon crawler game. Where characters can select, or I guess where players can select different character types. These characters will then, these characters have abilities, mostly attack and healing. And the goal is to progress through the dungeon, interact with the environment, attack an enemy. And these enemies in this game are called imps. And defeat a boss in the final room. Alright, and then we're just going to upload some screenshots. So I'll just say screenshots are attached. And like I said, I don't know if these screenshots are actually even helpful at all. Maybe they are. I think it might give some context to the game at least. All right, and then we'll say, let's see here. Here are the recent Git logs for the for code changes. And so here what we'll do is I'll go to my terminal. I'll open up Boss Room. Not sure if you can see this. I'll make this a little bigger. I think I can make it bigger by that. Yeah, all right. So I do Git log. I think it's pretty one line. Basically, we're just trying to do the Git log where it's not like a bunch of information. It's just like the main summary of each one, of each code change. All right, so we have all the changes here. And so I'm going to find a section where it talks more about the game stuff. Because this is like a multiplayer game, there is a lot of stuff that's more about like the multiplayer side. So, for instance, here we see things about pickup and drop actions were changed. Art and sound for when the imps has changed. This actually might be a good section. I'm just going to copy. Let's see here. I think this could be a good section of stuff. Does that have? Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll use this as our Git log. And I'm curious to see later if I just take a screenshot of the Git log from GitHub, if it'll still understand that. So yeah, let's upload this and see what it does. Moment of truth. All right. All right, so it's giving us different strategies for different types of tests. So I noticed that it's doing like, okay, here's like some functional testing, integration testing, regression testing, etc. I like how it's responding with the commit like hashes as well. So you can actually go back and say, oh, hey, why did it want that changed? That's actually pretty cool. That's doing that. Let's see here. So test all character abilities. So one thing we can decide on is like, do we want to only test things that were found in the recent changes, or should they be testing whatever it may, like anything pretty much? Maybe we'll tell them at the start, prioritize like tasks that are more relevant to the actual like recent code changes. And actually, I'm curious to see here. So here they said like incorporate this package to gather some performance data based on this commit. So I wonder what this commit said. Let's see. They added the profile analyzer package. All right, that's cool. Let's see what else. All right, this is like a good one too. So it actually pointed out like test the network object parenting and pick up and drop actions for this commit. So I'm guessing like in this commit, what they changed was how the network sends information about pickup and drop actions. And so that's like a pretty good test. Check for UI consistency. All right. Cool. I kind of like some of this. There are a few things I would change. So let's say here, I like these results a lot. One thing I'd like to see though is more focus and priority on testing things that are relevant to the recent code changes, not necessarily overall testing strategy for the high level game description. And I do like how some of the tests link back to the commit hashes. That was nice. I can actually go back and see, okay, why am I testing this thing? Cool. So let's give it that context. I'm trying to think of any other ideas here. So we have the description of the game, got the screenshots, got the recent code changes, has like this nice output. I think this part wasn't as bad as I thought. I thought we were going to run into a lot of issues with getting it to prompt for the information, but it seems like since we told it to prompt for it, it should be good now. And we uploaded the description and information, and then other random ideas. Yeah, let's see if I'm curious to see if like we can upload a screenshot, and then maybe that's what we can do with the actions. I'm curious to see if I upload a screenshot, can I have it annotate that screenshot with like with information? I don't think it can, but we can try it. All right. All right, it's been updated. Let me go copy this quickly before it gets rid of it. If I can do that. Oh, all right. I guess I cannot. So we'll go and copy paste that again. Let's see. We'll start off with one of the given actions. So yeah, question in the chat. Yeah, can you build your own custom bots with ChatGPT? Yeah, so this is a new feature with ChatGPT Plus. It does require the Plus subscription. And that subscription is like $20 a month. I think maybe in the future they'll have it open to non-Plus users. I think that would make a lot of sense. We'll see, but yeah, basically if you do have ChatGPT, if you go to their site, you won't actually see it at all, like if you are not subscribed, but if you are subscribed, you'll see a Explore section where you can see these chatbots. Yeah, and if you go look at OpenAI's recent Dev Day, you can go and watch like sort of the announcement and kind of like some demos of this. But all right, so here's it's just asking for the commit history, so we'll do that. Actually, I'm gonna try out here just uploading a screenshot of the Git history. That'd be really cool if we can actually do that. Yeah, what's really cool about it, I think, is that like the way they built it is you're building a chatbot with a chatbot, which is an interesting idea. So, right. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attempt to do like just like a screenshot of the Git history, because you can actually just like have it take images as input, which is pretty cool. We'll go back to a bunch of changes that are actually related to the gameplay itself. Let's see here. Right, here's some good ones. We see here there's some good things to test in here, like when the game is when the client leaves, it gets frozen or something like that. So let's see if it understands this. And thanks for saying it's been pretty neat. Yeah, I also think it's pretty cool playing around with this stuff. Every Friday here at Regression Games, we have like Innovation Friday, where we try to just like do experiments and try fun random ideas. But all right, so we see here that it actually read the screenshot, and so it's saying that I should try playing around with network objects. That's like one of the things in here that it mentioned. So this is pretty cool. Yeah, this is actually pretty cool, because like one of the changes was boss arrow fade in and out. That's one of the changes, and then saying, hey, make sure that the boss's arrow fades in and out, try it under different conditions, check any visual artifacts during the fade transition. Like, that's actually a pretty good, insightful thing for a QA tester. I wonder, I'm not sure if we have any QA folks in the chat, but I'd be curious to see if like this is in line with like what they would test, and I wonder if like this is good instructions for like a new QA engineer. Like, imagine you just joined a company and we're like, hey, we just made these changes, like use this agent to figure out like how you should be testing those things. But some of these are pretty cool. I like how it's actually saying like it's giving us multiple different categories of testing. Like here it's like check the performance and visual aspects of something. So that's pretty cool. I think that works here. This looks great to me. For the last thing I would add is that when you request someone for the Git history, make sure you mention that they can upload a screenshot of the Git history from GitHub. Let's see what it has to say about that. I think once it's done with that, what we do is actually to go and publish it. Before we do that, I'll go into the Configure tab and check out the actions. And then I do want to try out one more thing with actually like coming up with some QA tests for maybe like a game that's like on the Steam store. I wonder if I can just upload a screenshot of like, here's a game, like what should we do? So we'll see what it says about that. And I wonder how it's actually like designing this in the background. Like, is it just creating a huge prompt with all this information where it's like, hey, this is a GPT agent, and here's the instructions as an agent. Here's some examples of what we did in the preview and how and why to use that information. All right, I think we're all good now. All right, let's see. I'm going to change up some of these conversation starters, which is, let's see, please share a game description and recent commits for specific testing strategies. How do recent code changes affect QA, affect my specific QA strategy? And then one thing is there is like this add actions thing here. Interesting. I haven't really tried this out. Maybe it's a I know that there's like there's a lot of plugins for GPT where you can basically give them access to like certain APIs. I'm guessing that's probably what this is about. But cool, I think this is basically working. I think we'll go ahead and publish this. So, and there is one more thing I want to try with the published version. Just give this a second. What we'll do in the meantime is we'll open up a Steam store game and see if like it can generate like some ideas for us. Maybe we'll find some random game in here. I know people are talking a lot about City Skylines too. Let's pause these streams here. And then we can go and zoom in. Basically, I want to be able to get like a screenshot and a description in just one section. All right, we might use that later. So, all right, we have our game QA strategist. So I'm basically gonna go and say, oh, can I edit this later? I wonder if I feel like I should be able to, right? Yeah, okay, I can edit that. All right. So, hey, I have a game called City Skylines. Attached a screenshot of the game and description, as well as a screenshot of the Git history. And what we're going to do is to simulate this. Obviously, we don't have the Git history for that game. I'm going to try to find just like a city simulator or city tycoon game on GitHub, and then take their commit history basically. Oh, not city GitHub, city tycoon. Gotta find something that's been like pretty active, something that has a lot of stars. The most active one I see is this one that's in Spanish. So these Git messages are not the most informative. Let's see here. Just looking for something that has a good number of commits too. All right. Do a little bit more searching here. Simple village simulation, 1 commit. No code, perfect. Factory city, 2 commits. All right. All right, 39 commits for this one. All right, this is actually pretty good. There's some decent information here. We'll go and screenshot that. Basically, we're pretending that this is for that game. And we're also using our agent in a way that we did not program it to do. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so we took a screenshot of the game description and then the screenshots. Let's see what it does. It's still uploading the screenshot. All right. I have high hopes for this. We want to say what are some specific QA tests we should implement / do. Well, all right. It's come up with some good suggestions. It's actually asking simply for like things that are in the commit history, like police car functionality. So that's good. All right. Cool. So we have an actual testing strategy now. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I wonder if the last thing I think would be really cool to try out, like there's some extension you can make this, like have it send an email to like the QA lead, which like with like the strategy, things like that. And so I don't think there are plugins for things like that yet. Like, and you can imagine another thing might be like, oh, open up like a Jira ticket or a linear ticket for these tasks. That'd be really cool. But yeah, maybe we can make a bulleted list in a text file with these requested tests. Make sure the tests map back to specific commits in the Git history. Make sure each task is also concise. Just curious to see what it does with this. It'd be really cool if this actually works how would I extend it to, which is just print out or provide a text file I can download. Let's try again. I heard that there is some like potential issues right now with GPT in terms of their servers. So, and what's cool, you'll notice here, it's actually writing code to do this, I think. And we should be able to actually look at the code. Nice. So I think the issue is it doesn't have the ability to just make a file, and so it has to write code to make the file. So I'm glad that we're seeing this. All right, saved it in a file, and I think I can just go and download it right here. All right, yeah, this is pretty cool. I'll open that up. Perfect. All right, this is actually pretty awesome. So we can actually see here, like, it's going right back to the commits as well for each of these things, like validate police car functionality, especially after commits these two. And we can go and see, I think, in our Git history here. This was 360A. Yeah, so here, fix police car spawner and destination setting. That's actually pretty cool. So yeah, so you can imagine once GPT has like internet access, it'd be really cool if you could say, hey, make this email or file and just like email these people with it. So, and that could actually be like, that whole entire thing could be automated. Imagine you could do this like every, let's say 24 hours, maybe the end of the day or beginning of the day, it goes and, you know, gets all the Git history for a game, gives it to this agent, and then you just get an email saying, hey, here's things you should be testing today as a QA engineer.